Hi everybody, I'm here at Born Free's Big Cat Sanctuary at Shamwari Private Game Reserve. I'm here with Glen. He works with the big cats here, he takes care of them, and he knows all about them. I'm so excited to let you get to know him and learn about all the amazing things he's doing. Welcome to Club 15.
Thank you, Kate.
Okay, so to start off, I know you have such an incredible job. So can you tell us where we are and what you do?
Kate, we are at the northern part of Shamwari Private Game Reserve at the Gene Bird Center. And what I do, I look after our rescued lions and leopards that were rescued from appalling conditions all around the world. So what we offer them here is the second best, and this is their forever home.
Yes. The lions care for you so much, and I know you work so hard to keep them safe here, and they have such a great home here. And I know you've cared for these cats over 20 years. Can you tell us the transformation that you see when these cats leave their terrible conditions and now they're living at this Born Free sanctuary? And have you seen the lions and the leopards relax and enjoy life reaching this new place?
Words can't describe it. Seeing them transforming to almost what we would say a proper wild lion in their natural bush enclosures that we offer them here is just amazing. We see them roaring, they would scent mark their territories, and the odd mouse or guinea fowl that would fly into the enclosure, they would be stalking them and chasing after them. It's just amazing seeing them behave the way they should have behaved. But sadly, our rescued lions, they've been denied that opportunity to behave like proper wild lions or to roam free in the wild. So this is the second best that we offer them.
You mentioned to me a part of a rescue that you were in.
Yes.
And so can you explain the plane ride and releasing it here at Born Free?
I was fortunate enough in 2008 to be part of a rescue in France that we did with a male lion called Brutus. It was just an amazing journey to see a rescue that Born Free started from A to the finish when we released him into his enclosure, and how he enjoyed stepping onto the soil, feeling grass for the first time. Exploring his new environment was just amazing.
It's so sad that these lions are kept in these concrete cages, but so great that they're getting a second chance at life here. I know you have a very special relationship with Sammy the leopard. Can you tell us about her and how you guys have formed your incredible bond?
Well, I'll be honest, I try not to have favorites, but it's very difficult. And over the past 20 years, Sammy and I have formed a very big bond. He's one out of 3 leopards that were rescued from Sudan. They were found by Sudanese government soldiers abandoned in the desert. So they were fortunate enough to be taken in by an oil company called Lundin Oils, where they stayed in Khartoum for a few months. And they arrived here at Shamwari at our Big Cat Sanctuary in 2001. The best part probably was when I was bottle feeding them, giving them bits of chicken. And I think that's where the bond started. And it's been there ever since. Sadly though, the other brother called Elam and Namira passed away. So Sammy has the enclosure for himself, and he adapted very well. We've got each other, we keep each other busy. But yeah, it's just amazing how they can get attached to a person and we can get attached to them. So yeah, I always get emotional when I talk about these things because they're not just animals, they're family at the end of the day. They're a big part of my family too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Sammy's really grateful to have you, and I love that you have such a special relationship.
Yeah.
So now can you tell us about Sonia and Maggie, who lived together in a circus?
Well, Sonia and Maggie were rescued from a circus in Germany. They were performing cats, and we don't encourage circuses to have animals where our animals have to entertain or perform for humans. It's just so bad, totally negative. I don't support it at all. So they were performing most of their lives, and they were rescued, ended up in a halfway house in Belgium with our friends at the Natuur Hope Centrum. And they came to us a few years ago, and they've been living in their natural enclosures, enjoying the South African sun and air.
I mean, I learned from Virginia McKenna, I mean, you can have your circuses, but just don't have them with animals.
Definitely, I agree fully with that. No animals in circuses to entertain us. No, we can do that to entertain ourselves, yeah.
I agree. Okay, so now I know you care for these cats every single day. Do they have different personalities?
Oh yeah, they do. They do. And sometimes it takes months and years before they reveal those personalities. So myself and our team on the ground here, we spent hours and hours and days and weeks sitting, observing them and getting to learn more about their behaviors and for them to trust us too. So yes, they're all unique in their own ways.
And are some of them more feisty than others? Like, are any of these lions here, you know, not as nice as I know Sammy the leopard?
Well, Sammy is a special kind of friend. Very nice, very relaxed, but it depends with each rescued cat's previous background or circumstances where he or she came from. And some, they don't come from very good places. So they're really not keen on people. They don't like people because of the abuse, the trauma they went through. So it takes time and years for them to trust again. And in that way, we can say, yes, they are different.
Yeah, I mean, people have treated them badly their whole life, so it's not very hard to imagine that they wouldn't like people very much.
Exactly. And we can't blame them for behaving like that. I've got one particular cat that's starting to enjoy our company. His name is CM. And he's a big, magnificent lion, also rescued from France, doing very well here. And it took us a few months to bond with him and him to bond with us. And I would say we're pretty good friends now.
Can you tell us about your newest cat, Mowgli? And I mean, how is he adjusting to his new home?
Mowgli is a melanistic leopard, a black leopard, rescued from a zoo here in South Africa, in Bloemfontein. He's about 2.5 years old. He's adjusting very well in his new enclosure. I think he loves the bush too much, so we don't see him as much as we would love to see him. But on camera traps, we've seen him, we've monitored him, exploring his new home, also scent marking, just like the other cats that I've told you about. So he's taking it in nice and slowly, and he'll reveal himself when he's ready to do so.
I know he really likes his enclosures. He has lots of hiding places.
Yeah, and we're in the process of looking at and building him a new climbing frame. So when that is up and running, I'm sure probably you'll want to jump onto it and explore what we did there, because our scent will be on all the wood that we used to build the structure with. So we're also looking forward to show that to the world once it's up and running. All right, Kate, let's see who can we see when we walk around.
Okay.
I would like to start right at the end, where I might introduce you to CM and Circe. Beautiful lions, came from France. We introduced them a few months ago to each other, so they're newlyweds. Let's go and see what they're up to.
Okay, are they from a circus or a house or something like
One was found in a private owner's house, and one was found abandoned in the streets in France. Ended up in a halfway house in Belgium with our friends at the Natuur Hope Centrum, where they were nurtured to good health, and came to me a few years ago, and we managed to introduce them successfully to each other, and they're enjoying each other's company in these natural enclosures that we have for them. Yeah.
Are you close with them? Like,
I am. I mean, it's a team effort at the end of the day. Myself and my colleagues, we work together and we try to spend as much time as possible with them. So yes, very close. And that's why I was saying it's so difficult to have favorites. They're all my favorites. Yeah.
that is understandable.
Yeah.
So can you tell us how big all these enclosures are?
They're about the size of a football field. We left them natural. Well, we've got some viewing decks for them to climb on. We've got water troughs for them to have a drink. In the wild, these animals occupy huge territories depending on the availability of food. It will be kilometers and kilometers, you know.
He's looking at us.
Yeah.
Hi.
I mean, you can see if you look at the enclosure, I mean, we've got the enclosures the size of a football field, and then if you look to your right, we've got what we call the hospital camps or the night houses, and that's where we would feed them. And if the vet needs to dart one of the kids for a medical checkup, that's where the vet will do it, in one of those areas there. And then if you turn around, we've got a little storyboard here for our school kids that would come and visit us, or our guests that would visit the center. So you just give a little description of where the cat came from, and that was Cersei.
Wow.
When she was little, you know, as you can see, I mean,
She was rescued from a garage?
in Marseille, France.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was kept as an illegal pet. Shame. So at the end, our kids that we have here, they are ambassadors for those kids that are roaming freely out there in the wild. That what happened to these kids should never happen to any wild animal. And that's why I pride myself working for the Born Free Foundation, or representing them here at Shamwari Private Game Reserve, speaking for those that could not speak for themselves, so that we can protect and preserve all of them in their natural environment here.
So, how many lions do you have at this spot?
Okay, here
And leopards?
here at the Gene Bird Center, we have 2 leopards.
Okay.
And we have 8 lions. So I've got a total of 10 cats that we care for here. But at the Southern Born Free, at the Julie Ward Center, we have 6 cats, 2 leopards, and 4 lions. So we've got a total of 16 cats that we care for between the 2 centers, the Gene Bird Center in the north and the Julie Ward Center in the south of Shamwari Private Game Reserve.
Do you have any more room for any new cats?
Well, at the moment, all the enclosures are occupied, and we would love to introduce strangers to strangers. However, it's very risky. It takes months and months of observing them, and obviously the enclosure has to be divided to allow them to bond and get to know each other. So at this stage, the enclosures are occupied, and once space becomes available, we'll bring in another rescued lion or a leopard that came from similar backgrounds here.
But these 2, they got along?
Yeah, they very well. It took about 6 months of bonding through a dividing fence. We had to actually divide this enclosure in half. So CM was on the other side and Cersei was on this side. And it took a whole 6 months of what I call fence dating. So they were dating through the fence and they got to know each other. But CM, he's such a cute boy. Yes, he does growl at us now and then, but he's such a cute lion. It was love at first sight, I think.
Okay, so how can we help these big cats with this organization, Born Free?
All right, Kate, there's a few ways of doing it. First of all, you can either go onto our Shamwari Private Game Reserve website, or on the Born Free Foundation's website, where you can adopt or donate towards our adoptions that we have available online. And in that way, that's how you can help us do our work, or to continue doing our work here at Shamwari Private Game Reserve.
Awesome. Okay, so everybody go adopt a lion or a leopard. My last question is, I know it's up to my generation to, save our planet, save these animals. What can we do to end humans treating animals and using them for human entertainment?
Well, there's so many things that we could list, but as a father, I always encourage my children not to go and visit oceanariums, not to go to circuses where they use animals, also not to visit zoos that are keeping animals in very small cages, Victorian type of cages. That is something of the past. We need to move on, and we need to preserve and protect our wildlife in their natural environment, where they should be roaming freely. And showing our kids that visit our education center here at Shamwari Private Game Reserve how animals should be kept as they are at Shamwari Game Reserve, and not in captivity. That's something that we do or wish not to happen in the near future. Yeah.
Definitely, just
Yeah.
don't want to give your money, you don't want to support these places.
And it's very important also maybe to have a chat to your parents when you go on a holiday to look the place up and see if they are ethical places. Do they do the right practices? That will be a big help too, so that we don't visit those places where you can pet a lion cub perhaps, or maybe walk with a cheetah or anything like that. That is something of the past. It shouldn't be happening anymore. Yeah.
I agree. Well, that was my final question. Thank you so much for talking with me today. You do so much work for these lions and leopards, and I'm so grateful. I know everybody's grateful. You're really saving these species, and it's so great that these big cats are getting a second chance at life here. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Kate, helping us to conserve a vanishing way of life and keeping our animals forever wild. Thank you very much.
Let's go! Kids can't save animals. Oh, yeah. Kids can't save animals.
Advocacy has no age limit.